He remains under 24-hour surveillance, although now the gig is up, he knows we're there. We spend about 24 hours creating a search warrant. We go to his house and we execute the warrant. It was for his entire property and the van. When you look at the carpet, there's nothing there. When we pulled the carpet up, there are stains underneath and in the foam padding underneath, and that's where we start getting all our DNA hits, is on the padding underneath. Everything gets shipped off to the various lab. Then keep in mind, it's not like the forensic shows that you watch on TV. You don't get results the next day, and it takes weeks, especially back then, to get that kind of stuff back. Right before probably Thanksgiving, we start getting lab results back. DNA results are that we have Kathy DeMaro's blood in the van. We have Michelle Gordon's hair in the van. We have other blood identified in the van. At that moment is unknown. And then we come up with another missing person case, who's Kathleen Meyer.
The last victim, Kathy Meyer, she got in a domestic with her boyfriend and he had struck her. So she walked from her home, she lived in a townhouse, and walked out to Route 40, and I think her intent was, I surmised, she's just going to walk to a phone or something like that. And I think she was offered a ride. We actually had an off-duty Wilmington police officer approach us later, much later, and say that he saw a female matching Meyer's description getting into a blue Ford van, and he wrote down the tag number, and indeed that was the tag number of Pennell. We never recovered her body, so there was very little we can do.
So Kathleen Meyer, we compare her blood. Her blood is identified as being inside the van. And we're able to identify her blood because we don't have her body. Even as we're sitting here, we don't have her body. So we go to her parents, get their DNA, and they're able to say that that blood is from an offspring of their DNA, and that's her blood in the van. It's November, so we get another call, and some hunters find what they believe is a body in the reeds right off the C&D Canal. So we race down there and we find a decomposed, skeletonized body, which the medical examiner takes. We're able to identify as Margaret Lynn Finner. The cause of death cannot be determined. However, all of the circumstances leading to her missing person, we can clearly identify her as a case, and we know who did it. We don't have the evidence to support it, but the circumstances all point to that by time, by witness description of the blue van that exactly matches what we have, and so on and so forth. So that is a cleared case in this, but there was no arrest or prosecution involved. Finally, we get the lab results back, and finally we're approved to get an arrest warrant. So, time to move on to what we're here for. You have the right to remain silent, blah, blah, blah. You understand these rights? Yes. Having these rights in mind, you wish to talk to us? No. So, we're done. We go out, we talk to Pete and Kathy, and, you know, it's kind of like all this for nothing.
It really came down to, what is this jury going to think about convicting this man? Pete and I both thought that was going to be a really tough sell to a jury. That no matter how much forensic evidence, circumstantial evidence, and DNA that we had, that we were convincing a jury that this seemingly normal guy sitting there in the courtroom was capable of murdering, torturing, binding, abducting complete strangers to him. So I never thought this was an easy case. I thought this was an incredibly difficult case, given that you're asking them to convict a man who killed total strangers.